my entire team after giving a business idea, only to have a man give the exact same idea a minute later and get praised.
What if I told you that the most subscribed YouTuber on the planet, a man who has built his entire brand on being generous, fun, and wholesome, is being accused of running one of the most toxic workplaces in the entertainment industry? And what if I told you that his own company handbook, the rules his employees were forced to live by, literally contain the phrase, "No does not mean no"? Yeah, we need to talk about MrBeast. Stay with me, because this story goes deeper than you think. And by the end of this video, I want you to drop a comment and tell me, do you believe her, or do you think this is a cash grab? Let's get into it. Jimmy Donaldson. You know the name. 479 million subscribers. A net worth estimated at around $2.6 billion. The man basically is YouTube at this point. But behind the giveaways, the stunts, and the viral moments, a very different picture is now being painted. And it has a name. Lorraine Mavromatis. Lorraine, now 34, was hired in August 2022 as MrBeast's head of Instagram and was promoted twice within just a year. By all accounts, she was exactly the kind of employee any company would want. Driven, talented, and rising fast. She was eventually managing MrBeast's entire verticals division, overseeing a production budget of roughly $500,000 per month, with her own office, her own team, and a salary of $250,000 a year. She was, as her own lawyers described her, a rising star. But then, she spoke up. And that's when everything changed. Now, let me give you the allegations. And I want you to really sit with these, because some of them are genuinely shocking. According to the lawsuit, MrBeast's former CEO, James Warren, who also happens to be Jimmy Donaldson's cousin, allegedly required Mavromatis to meet with him at his home for one-on-one meetings, during which he commented on the way she looked in her clothes. Think about that for a second. Your boss, the CEO, is calling you to his house and making remarks about your appearance. In what world is that professional? But it gets worse. When she asked why Donaldson wouldn't work with her on certain projects, she was allegedly told that she is a beautiful woman and that her appearance had a certain sexual effect on Jimmy. And the company's response to that allegation? They called it, and I quote, "fabricated for the sole purpose of sparking headlines." Here's my question though. If it's fabricated, why does it sound so specific? You don't just make up details like that. But again, we're dealing with allegations. Nothing has been proven in court. Keep that in mind. When she complained about a client making unwanted advances toward her, she alleged she was told she should be honored that the client was hitting on her. Honored. She should feel honored. I'll let that one sink in for a second. Now, here's where the story takes a truly wild turn, and this is the part that honestly has people on both sides of the internet losing their minds. Inside the company, there exists a handbook known internally as the Beast Bible. Sounds powerful, right? Sounds official. But wait until you hear what's actually in it. According to the lawsuit, this handbook told employees it is okay for the boys to be childish, that workers should pull all-nighters and work with intensity, and that no does not mean no. There's also allegedly a line that reads, and I need you to understand I am not making this up, do everything you can to empower the boys when filming. The boys. Not the team, not the crew, the boys. Now, MrBeast's company has said Mavromatis' claims are built on misrepresentations, and they insist they have Slack messages, WhatsApp conversations, and witness testimony to prove it. So maybe that handbook language has context we're not seeing, but even if it does, that's the language you chose to put in writing? That's the culture you chose to document? Comment below and tell me, should an employee handbook ever contain the phrase "no does not mean no" in any context? I genuinely want to know what you think. In November 2023, Mavromatis formally complained about the hostile work environment and was demoted shortly after. She went from running a $500,000 a month operation with her own team and a private office to being an isolated middle manager in the merchandise division, a place the lawsuit describes in brutal terms as a department where careers go to die. But even that wasn't the end. In January 2025, she informed the company she was pregnant and would need to take leave. And this is the part that honestly hit differently for me. She gave birth on March 31, 2025, and her newborn baby was placed in the neonatal intensive unit. Yet throughout April, she was being pulled into a product launch. On April 24, just 3 weeks, asked to manage an exhibition booth, requiring 10 hours of standing and physical labor, away from her newborn in the NICU. Mavromatis says she worked throughout her maternity leave, and even while she was in the labor and delivery room. In her own words, "I was still bleeding, and I just had to show up." Let me ask you something. At what point does a workplace stop being demanding and start being dehumanizing? Because I think we found that line. And then, less than 3 weeks after she returned from maternity leave, MrBeast's company terminated her, telling her she was too high caliber for the role she had been demoted into. Too high caliber. They literally used her excellence as the reason to fire her. And to top it off, after she was gone, a male employee was reportedly hired to perform her former duties. Now, Beast Industries' response is firm. They're calling this a clout-chasing complaint built on lies, and they say they have the receipts to prove it. The company shared a Slack exchange in which a coworker told Mavromatis she shouldn't even be checking her messages after she had canceled a meeting because she was, in her words, actually in labor at the hospital. They shared this as evidence in their favor. But honestly, I'm confused, because that message kind of proves her point, doesn't it? She's in labor and she's on a work chat? That's normal to them? I'll let you decide. Here's the thing, though. This isn't even the first time MrBeast's empire has been in legal hot water. A class action lawsuit filed in 2024 claimed that participants in his $5 million Amazon game show Beast Games were exploited, subjected to sexual harassment, denied meal breaks, denied adequate rest, and not compensated fairly. Some contestants said they didn't receive medical care after being physically injured during filming challenges. And remember the controversy about female contestants on Beast Games not having access to feminine hygiene products or clean underwear? The lawsuit claims that male executives at MrBeast headquarters laughed and made jokes about those complaints. These are women who came to participate in a game show, and the people running it thought their suffering was a punchline. There was also a 2024 social media firestorm over Donaldson's past racist and homophobic language, alongside accusations that a longtime collaborator sent inappropriate sexual messages to minors. A third-party legal investigation eventually cleared MrBeast of personal wrongdoing, but the pattern of accusations keeps coming, and that's a conversation that isn't going away. To his credit, Jimmy Donaldson has acknowledged that his company's rapid growth outpaced his ability to manage it. Just this week, he admitted he isn't maybe the best to build company culture, and pointed to new C-suite hires who have helped bring structure to a company that grew faster than anyone anticipated. He started his YouTube channel at age 11, playing Minecraft. By 27, he was running a company worth an estimated $5 billion with 750 employees. No business school, no HR training, just viral videos and exponential growth. But here's my controversial take, and I want the comments on this. Good intentions don't cancel out bad outcomes. You can genuinely love what you do and still create a culture that harms people, especially when you're scaling too fast and surrounding yourself with people who either don't know better or, worse, do know better and choose to look the other way. MrBeast not being named as a personal defendant in this lawsuit is important, but he owns the companies. He set the tone. And his cousin was apparently the CEO who called women to his house for private meetings. At what point does "I didn't know" stop being a valid excuse? So where does this go from here? Mavromatis has also filed a complaint with the U.S. Equal Employment Opportunity Commission. She has said publicly, "I really want to use my voice to bring awareness. We're in 2026 and things like this are still happening. The companies say they will fight this in court. And honestly, this could drag on for years. But in the court of public opinion, which for a creator like MrBeast might be even more consequential than any courtroom, the jury is already deliberating. Here's what I want to leave you. That demands more than a PR statement. It demands accountability. So tell me, do you believe Lorene Mavromatis? Or do you think MrBeast's team is right and this is opportunistic? Is this what happens when YouTube fame moves faster than corporate responsibility? Or is this just what happens when lawyers smell money? Drop your honest take in the comments below. Don't be shy, I read every single one. And if you're new here and you want more stories like this, the ones the internet is talking about but not everyone is covering in depth, hit that subscribe button because we go where the story goes. We'll see you in the next one.